Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to check out XLM's price chart, and unfortunately the bearish scenario that we talked about in the previous update played out. And in here now I'm not necessarily optimistic, but it may not be necessarily in the way that you think. So are you ready? Let's dive in and see what is going on. And if you remember, the last time that we talked about Astro Lumen, we were around these areas, and the idea was that this move down can continue a little bit more, but let's hope before we take the lows down here, we get a very strong bounce back in order for us to be able to say, you know what, maybe we are having, excuse me, on a higher degree, 5 up into 1 correction for wave 2, and the next move that we make it hopefully is going to be a big one into wave 3 and 4 and 5. So what happened? Unfortunately not that scenario, and we did continue our move down, but in it we took the lows down here, and much more importantly, let's just hide everything. As you can see, in the recent phase down in the last 1 or 2 hours, we actually took this important low about 36.1 cents, and this is really not good. Why is that? For two very important reasons. Number one, this definitely in my view opens the door to some more serious downward price action. However, I'm not really worried about that. I am, on the other hand, quite mad about the recovery phase. Why? Because if you want to argue that we're gonna have our final low around here, let's say this is like a very important support, then okay, off of the lowest low, you must be able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. This specific structure is called an impulse. Rules for it: we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, our wave 3 should not be the smallest wave. This is simply a big no-no in Elliott Waves. And when it comes to the sub waves, okay, we have to find 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5. There we go. And for wave 2 and 4, we can have different counts. Let's say WXY into 4 and ABC structure into wave 2. Now, here is a very important point. Having a 5 wave off of the lowest low is a good sign, but it's not actually enough. After this structure is complete, we also need to see a very slow and choppy move down in form of a correction structure, and then we can be a bit more optimistic and argue from here we're going to get a massive move up. And this is the key. Pay attention. On a higher degree, we're having a wave 1 correction for 2 followed by massive move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. The points that I'm trying to make is this phase right in here, from the beginning of our wave 1 to the end of our wave 2, is going to take quite some time, and this is the exact thing that makes me a bit angry and mad in XLM. Why? You see, if let's say from these areas we are going to get a very strong bounce back generally before taking the lows, I was able to tell you, look, in XLM we are having a wave 1, 2, and then huge move up into wave 3, 4, 5. And how long did it take for us to have this 1, 2 set up? Let's just measure it real quick timing wise. As you can see, about 540 candlesticks in H1 time frame, let's say about 23 days. And now, since we took the lows, I'm going to tell you, the moment that we hit our final low in XLM, okay, at that point, count on a couple of weeks of seriously boring ranging pattern. And for example, we may do something like this. We're going to go, let's say, quite a bit lower, and then we're going to have 5 wave up followed by a correction structure on the downside, even to about the lows. And this whole process is going to take a couple of weeks. Let's say we're going to give this move down to finish in about 2 weeks. And well, essentially, you are having about 4 to 6 weeks of seriously boring price action in order to basically finish where you already started, right in here. This is really annoying, and I promise you it is going to go on your nerve. Now, let's talk about the first important bearish sign that we talked about earlier, indicating our move down is actually going to continue. You see, let's say I am wrong and you believe that from these areas we are going to get a very strong bounce in XL. Then okay, here's the situation. In terms of classic technical analysis, meaning support and resistances, we are an unbelievably important support area, which is from daily and weekly time frame at the same time, and it is somewhere between 35.5 to about 36.5 cents right in here. And why is this so important? Number one, you see, this is, like we said earlier, from weekly and daily time frame at the same time, which will add quite a bit of validity to this region. Reason number two, under this support, we really do not have a whole lot of strong supports. And well, I'm going to argue, if we do end up getting a break of this thing, meaning we go under it, followed by that we get a very slow move in form of a correction in order to have a pullback, and then a continuation of the move down in order to take this low. This whole process is called confirming the break of the support. At that point, you actually need to count on probably, I'm gonna say, another 20 to, even if we are not that lucky, 30% move on the downside in XLM in order to reach to about the lows down here. Let's just do this. Let's say between 25 to about 27 cents around this area. Now, why did I choose this important region? Two reasons. Number one, earlier, if you remember, we said under here we really do not have a whole lot of strong support until this one right in here. And reason number two, which is actually much more important, you see, when this move up happened in XLM in daily time frame, we created a very clear gap all the way down here around this region between 25 to about, I think it was 26 cents. And I believe gaps 95+% of the time are going to get filled. So around these areas, I had two scenarios in mind. Either we are going to get a very strong bounce back from this important support area, generally before we get a break of it, in order to continue our bull run. Then, okay, in that case, after our bull run in SLO Lumen is over, we are going to get a massive move down in order to fill this important gap. On the other hand, I was thinking, if we get a break of this level, then okay, odds are at that point we are headed lower. So I'm warning you right now, if you want to stay optimistic just for like very short term, all eyes on this important level. Okay, this is going to be, in my view, at least in the short term, the make it or break it one. And if we break it, count on another 20 to 30% move on the downside. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in XLM chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.